Hello everyone, it's Rick Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today, I'm going to be tying, kind of playing around a little bit. This is an experiment I've been experimenting with on and off for the last couple months during the winter here. I think it's going to be a winner, but we'll have to see in the spring here. Spring and early summer, and we'll see how it goes. So there's several different versions that I've done, but this is the one I think is going to be killer. We'll see. So it's kind of a Cary special, but a little bit of a different. So you'll see. So today we are using a. Let me just get the thread on here. This thread is just your. I think it's light olive, or is it olive? Watery olive. Classic waxed, just your waxed thread. The hook is and I tie these in, as right now I've been tying them in an 8 and 10, FW 563 from Arex. That's what I've been using. Okay. And like I said, it's very Cary-esque, how I tie this one. So I'm going to take about that much off of my barred mallard. Make sure those tips line up or pretty close, right? And then I want this to be about the length of the body plus a bit. So that's about good. Past. So I'll go all the way back, and I'm going to do a pinch wrap and bring that down. And that should give me the length I want. I want it a little longer in this case. This very, as a lot of you guys here in Canada know, I tie a lot of British style, or I'm influenced by a lot of British patterns and styles. So a lot of the British patterns have longer tails than what we're used to here. So again, under, over. So, alrighty. Dunsky. Now, next, I'm going to take some Hare dubbing plus. Again, you guys have heard me say this 1,000 times. My favorite dubbing. Period. 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 Love how soft and supple it is, and then it's got a little bit of that, sparkle in it, right? So I'm just going to take the number 16 olive, which is the one the olive, the kind of rust and the black are the ones I use the absolute most out of these for the lakes. If I start tying, when I tie a lot of river flies like hare's ears and prince nymphs and all that kind of other stuff, and mayfly patterns and stuff, then I start going into the yellows and grays and tans but so this one I like keeping it fairly thin at the back, and then I'll slowly thicken it as I come forward. So I'm going to make that taper, right? And I'm going to leave myself a good 2 hook eyes at the front here. This should be more than enough to finish what I want. There we go. Okay. So now if you want, you can take your dubbing brush and just hit this a little bit. I don't go crazy. I don't want it a leech, but nice and buggy. There we go. So, okay. Then what I'll do is I'll take a piece of this India cocktail. Just take one, and this will help me. It'll help my next material stand up a bit more, which will be a soft hackle material. I don't need a lot. I need like 2 turns of this maximum. So it's very similar to another one I tied a few days ago, or I'm not sure when it release order here, because usually I tie like 8 or 10 in a day. I do record 8 or 10 of them, and then I'll go back and edit and schedule, and yeah, sometimes they're before or after each other. I don't know for sure. I gotta get better at taking notes and stuff so I know where's what. But So I've tied another one very similar to this, but there's some changes in a second here. So I just do one. And come back up. And that's it. It's like I said, all this is doing is going to help the next layer stand out, right? And not lay down as flat. So just get rid of that little piece. So now I take a piece of ringneck pheasant. Now this is my skin, right? My ringneck pheasant skin. So you can go and get materials from there, or you can get, you know, these more stiffer ones, or you can go right up into here and get these really marabou type. And this is close to this marabou type. This is the one I want. Not quite the marabou, right? It's really cool. You can see the marabou starting down here on the bottom, and that's okay. So again, only a couple of turns of this at the most. At the very most, you don't want to crowd your eye too much because you still got 2 more materials to go in. And this one might be borderline. We'll see. We'll see as I get closer if I stayed too close to the eye before where I stopped with my dubbing. We'll see. So now I want these fibers, like I said, this is how I've been tying it. I want these fibers to be almost as long or as long as the tail. And just, that's it. And just go back in here and tie that off. Sorry, I just bumped my phone. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, I record all my videos for the last couple of years. Since my wife and I started traveling, all my videos are done on my phone. So, okay. So nice and long. Okay. Then I'm going to take just a little bit of Flach here. This is just crystal Flach. This one happens to be from Hends. I mean, it doesn't matter which brand you use, and I just try not to hand out too much, because you see any of this crystal Flach, it always twists on you. It's a bugger. And I just, quite often I'll just wet it to help it stay in control. And I'm just going to tie that in right there. Oops. Make sure that stays right on top. Okay, then I'll cut the front off. And then I'm going to take this, just separate it away. And I just want to make it about that long. This is just a little Flach spot, if you want to call it that. Okay, and then if there's any that are kind of going wonky, just, there you go. Then, final step. Oop, dubbing loop. Ooh, I gotta wax that bobbin holder. It's I don't like it when it squeals like that. Little hint for you that don't have wax or whatever. If you just take this off and rub the 2 posts on your either side of your nose, you got enough wax in there. Works like a charm. So now I'm just taking some CDC, some olive CDC, and I've actually got 2 feathers in there, whole feathers, because I used my stacker, right, and pushed them in, and then it takes both sides up, but there's 2 feathers worth in here. I'll take my long Renomed scissors here, and I'm going to wax my thread a bit, both sides. Just a little bit, don't have to go crazy. Then I'll take my CDC, put it in. And then I'll do a slow turn just to get it to start to go. And then I can really spit it up after that. Don't want to go crazy because of what this is. This is only classic waxed. If this was nano silk, I could go a little bit more, and now I'm just gonna make sure that every stroke is going backwards. And I'm making it quite the hairy head here. Just right behind that eye. Pull that all back. Okay. Then just carefully cut off your dubbing loop, not losing. Then I stroke that all back, and I'm going to come back over top of it a bit and make myself a nice tidy little head. Again, just making sure you try not to trap any of the CDC. Sometimes that's harder to do than you say, but give that a bit of a tug, make sure it's good, get in there. And then I'll go in and put some Sally Hansen's in there. But right now, I'll just take this and stroke this back a bit. And there you go. That's it. This one's a little slightly heavier dress than a couple of the others I've done, but I like it. I like it nice and buggy. Lots of movement. Right? Lots of movement in that CDC, and as well as in that pheasant here, that golden pheasant. This stuff here is almost like marabou, right? So it'll really move a lot. You can see it moving in there, right? So lots of movement, lots of pulsation. Having that little bit of a taper to the body there will help that the pheasant rump there kind of pulsate, right? It'll help it pulsate because it can't go right flat, right? No matter what. And then that little bit of sparkle, just that little bit of sparkle in there from that crystal flash. Now I could have made that crystal flash a tiny bit longer, but I'm actually okay with that. I just want that little bit of flash. This is kind of almost, my inspiration behind this was the Cary special and the Zonker, not the Zonker, oh my God, I'm having a brain fart, what it's called. The one we use all the time for like crayfish patterns and stuff. I'm having a brain fart. I can't think of what it's called. If I remember to put I'll put some words down below here. But you know what I'm talking about, the one with the big deer head, sculpin. There we go. Is that, the kind of the sculpin type pattern, but just not. So a little different. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, it is right now an experiment. I think it's going to be an absolute killer in our lakes. But I will see in the spring and early spring and early summer how it does. I think this is, like I said, going to be one of my go-to flies this year. We'll see. Every year I kind of do this year I'm going to go heavy on, damsel flies. Oh, next year I'm going to go heavy on chironomids, and next year I'll go heavy on scuds and stuff. This year I'm trying to go heavy on British style, attractor style patterns, this type of thing. These Carys, anything with like knotted legs, that kind of stuff. Dabblers, crunchers, snatchers. I kind of started doing that at the end of last season, but I really want to concentrate on the British style. Let's call them attractor patterns or not, but yeah. So that's what I'm going to be really focusing on this year. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, give her a thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you very much. If you haven't, please consider doing so. And we'll see you guys on the next tying video. Tie lines, everyone.